Hey everyone, and welcome back. Before we get started with this episode of the V8 swapped Supra drift build, I just wanted to mention that I did figure out the issue with the camshaft being too tight in the previous episode. It was brought to my attention by Dale Morse of Dale Morse Machine in Pensacola, Florida, that the cam bearings were crooked. So I disassembled the rotating assembly, and sure enough, the cam bearings were visibly crooked. Now, he did offer to do a fresh install for me, however, in the interest of saving travel time, I decided to see my friend Greg Privatera of Emerald Coast Motorsports in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, who got it taken care of. One last thing before we start the show. Last week, the Feature Garage YouTube channel broke past 4,000 subscribers, which I think is super cool, and I really appreciate everyone who took the time to comment, like, or subscribe to the channel. If you're not currently subscribed, then I implore you to do so now. This channel is only going to get better. If you are currently subscribed, then I challenge you to pick your favorite video on this channel and share it to a community that you're a part of. The more we can grow this channel, the more epic the content can get. So, thank you all so much for the support. Now, let's start the show.
Welcome back to another Featured Garage vlog. In this episode, we will reassemble the rotating assembly and assemble the accessories for the short block. But first, I need to hone the lifter journals, something I overlooked in the previous episode, but hey, this is my first cam and block build. Remember kids, lube saves lives. Be sure to use plenty of assembly lube when inserting the camshaft. Comment down below if you know what I'm talking about. Now, when I test fitted the cam with regular engine oil, it seemed to spin more freely than with assembly lube. With the assembly lube, I noticed the cam will stick, but then spin freely once it gets going, which is why I'm using this wrench. Later on in this build, the cam became easier to spin by hand, and I suspect it is because some of the sticky assembly lube began to weep out between the bearings and the cam. Now we can plop in the crank and main caps. As mentioned in the previous episode, the torque specs are 15 foot-pounds on the first pass, followed by a rotation of 80 degrees on the inner bolts and 51 degrees on the outer bolts. Don't forget to torque the side bolts to 18 foot-pounds. It's time to put the pistons back in their home, but first I'm going to install a fresh set of connecting rod bearings. In the previous episode, I noticed the number one rod bearing didn't have very good crush as it fell out during assembly. At the time, I just carried on with the build, but after many small setbacks and having to tear apart the engine again, I decided it would be cheap insurance to just replace the rod bearings, thus giving this whole engine a fresh start at life. The connecting rod bearings get torqued to 15 foot-pounds on the first pass, followed by a rotation of 75 degrees.
A line of trucks produced by General Motors readily explode on impact.
Look what happened.
NBC's contractor did put incendiary devices under the trucks to ensure that there would be a fire if gasoline were released from the truck's gas tank.
All right, now it's time to install the camshaft thrust plate, timing chain, oil pump, and front cover. By the way, all the bolts for these items get torqued to 18 foot-pounds. I would install the windage tray and pickup tube, but I'm missing the hardware for the windage tray. Also, I don't know what GM calls for in the torque sequence for the oil pan, but now that I see this in post, I'm pretty sure the front and rear covers are supposed to remain loose while the pan gets torqued to the block, then torqued to the covers, then the covers get torqued to the block. That seems to make the most sense. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Be sure to check out featuredgarage.com for rad grassroots automotive articles. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe for next week's video, which should include dropping the short block and transmission into the Supra. Thanks for watching. Until next time.